Digital or traditional? When it comes to creating your manga, which path should you take? As digital tools become more convenient, a lot of mangakas are switching over. But plenty still swear by the old school ink on paper method. We've worked with Japanese pro mangakas who have a combined experience of over 50 years in the industry. And over the 40 works they've produced, they've worked with both mediums. In this video, we'll explore the pros and cons of both. And we'll help you decide whether traditional, digital, or even a mix of both mediums would suit your manga the best. If you've been struggling to create your own manga for years, we invite you to apply to our online one-shot manga drawing program. You can book a free manga consultation call with us to see if we're a good fit to work together. The link is in the description. First, let's talk about the traditional manga process, also known as analog manga. In the context of art, analog refers to the use of physical tools to create artworks by hand. Think sketching on paper with a pencil, inking with a dip pen, and applying screen tones with a utility knife. Some legendary mangakas like Eiichiro Oda, Junji Ito, and Naoki Urasawa all still use analog to create their manga to this day. If you want to try it out yourself, you need pencils, erasers, nib pens and holders, inks, comic book paper, rulers, correction fluid, screen tones, and a utility knife. When it comes to cost and accessibility, analog manga wins. You can get basic items like pencils, erasers, and paper at any stationery or office supply store. Plus, manga nibs are designed to be affordable and replaceable. With proper care, they can last a long time. Mangakas and fans of analog manga both say,
"There's something special about traditional, hand-drawn manga."
And they're right. Analog manga has a distinct look and feel that's hard to replicate digitally. The texture of certain papers can add a lot of character to your inking, and even the small mistakes you leave out can give more personality to your art. When it comes to coloring manga covers, you have different mediums to choose from watercolors to alcohol markers and even oil paints. Each medium brings its own distinctive look. Kyu Hayashida, the mangaka of Dorohedoro, takes analog manga to a whole new level. Her manga covers use a mix of unique materials, like band-aids, model railway tracks, and rubber sheets. Analog can be messy and unpredictable, but Hayashida-sensei turns these traits into advantages for her art. The result? A distinct and unique art style that brings the nightmare worlds of her manga to life. If you grew up doodling with pen and paper, analog manga would probably feel familiar and comfortable, especially as you practice sketching your characters and your panels. However, a major con is analog manga's unforgiving nature. If you make a mistake, it's time-consuming to redo. If your line work is a little crooked, correction fluid can save the day. But imagine if you accidentally spilled a bottle of ink on your whole manuscript. You'll need to start from scratch. This can be a major problem in the manga industry where strict schedules are the norm. Hours wasted on revision can cost you your deadline. And speaking of cost, let's talk about the materials. Unlike digital art where everything is in your software, analog manga uses real-world tools and materials that need to be properly cared for. Sure, the starting cost for your supplies is cheap, but as you maintain and grow your art supplies collection, the expenses can add up. If you don't close ink bottles properly, they'll dry up. You'll also need to replace pen nibs and restock your paper. Keeping up with supplies can be a hassle. Plus, you gotta think about where to keep all of them. For artists with small workspaces, it might not just be practical. This is where digital manga comes in. Digital manga has become a go-to choice for both beginner and professional mangakas. Even industry veterans like Hiro Mashima, The mangaka of Fairy Tail has switched to digital after doing 20 years of analog manga. Before we find out why, let's talk about what digital manga even is. Digital manga creation relies on tech like computers, graphics tablets, and software. When we say graphics tablet, we're not talking about an iPad, although you can also use your iPad to create manga. When we say graphics tablet, we're talking about this. It's a device you draw on with a pen-like stylus. Basically, it lets you draw directly on your computer just like you would on paper. They come in two types. The standard pen tablet is a flat slate you connect to your computer. It doesn't have a display of its own, so you'll need a separate monitor to see what you're doing. This kind of tablet can take some getting used to. You need to train your hand-eye coordination since you're looking at a separate monitor instead of your hand while drawing. On the bright side, it's pretty affordable with entry-level models starting at only $25. The second type of graphics tablets are pen displays that have built-in screens you can draw on directly. They create a drawing experience that feels like using pen and paper. But they cost more. Entry-level monitor tablets start at $100 and prices rise depending on the brand and features. Now, let's talk about where the magic happens. The drawing software. Manga software comes with a lot of built-in tools that make your life easier. You have pens that mimic real nibs, brushes, rulers, speech balloons, panel frames, and even screen tones. Clip Studio Paint is the go-to for a lot of pros like Tatsuki Fujimoto, the creator of Chainsaw Man, and Kohei Horikoshi, the creator of My Hero. It's also the same program our own pro mangaka mentors use. Clip Studio Paint has all the standard manga tools you need. It also goes a step further, letting you use 3D models to build scenes. It has an endless supply of tools and materials on the Clip Studio Asset site. To top it off, its cloud sharing service makes it a breeze to work on multiple devices or collaborate with a team. But hold on, all those features don't come cheap. The Clip Studio Paint Pro version costs about $54. If you want to use their cloud services, you also need to pay a subscription fee. Now, if money's tight, don't worry, because you've got other options. There are freemium programs like Medibank Paint and totally free ones like Krita. Sure, they might not have all the bells and whistles of Clip Studio, but they're still strong tools for new mangakas. They also have communities where you can find free tools and resources made by users. All the tools and materials you need are in one place. That's the convenience of digital manga. No need to make trips to the store for supplies, and no worries about spilled ink ruining an entire page. And here's the best part. It's super easy to edit and fix mistakes. Who here loves Control-Z? Let us know in the comments. Besides using the undo button, you also have different kinds of tools to help adjust your artworks. Character proportions not looking quite right? Just use the transformation tool to play around with it. Need to rearrange panels? No problem. Just put them on different layers and move them around. And that's exactly why Hiro Mashima decided to switch to digital. In the afterword of Eden Zero Volume 8, he wrote,
"There are a lot of advantages to working digitally, the first of which is that our speed has gone way up. To get technical, I don't really need to do a draft, I don't need to erase pencil lines, I can paint over large areas instantaneously. Digital is just faster than analog."
Mashima Sensei and his team were able to create a workflow that allowed them to work only 4 days a week. And they didn't need to pull all-nighters anymore. Digital manga may be faster than analog once you get used to it, but it does come with a price. Literally. The cost of a good computer, graphics tablet, and drawing software is higher than what you'd need upfront for analog manga. You'll also have to budget for maintaining your devices.
Mama went to the bank.
Repairing your computer or graphics tablet is definitely going to be pricier than just replacing a $1 nib. If you need to send your gear back for repairs, how long it takes can vary on the issue. And trust me, losing all your files to hardware failure is every mangaka's nightmare. Make sure you regularly back up your files. If you want the best of both worlds, then you can try mixed media manga. You basically combine analog and digital manga together. For example, Yusuke Murata, the artist behind One Punch Man, starts off with analog and finishes using digital manga techniques. He sketches and lays out his pages by hand. Then he uses digital software like Photoshop or Clip Studio Paint to add finishing touches like screen tones and special effects. Murata's assistants also use digital software to add background effects. Our very own pro mangaka mentor, Nao Yazawa, prefers to ink her pages by hand. Then she adds the screen tones and special effects digitally. When we asked her why she prefers to do part of her process in analog, Yazawa-sensei said,
When I draw digitally, I always feel a computer separating me and my art. In the future, I hope these problems can be solved with developed technology, but at this point, I definitely prefer traditional.
Digital manga may never fully match the feel of analog, but there are some digital brushes that can get us closer. For example, Gege Akutami, the mangaka for Jujutsu Kaisen, uses a brush that mimics the G-pen nib. He also applies techniques from his analog days. He tries to give his digital manga a more analog feel. If you want to try mixed media manga, just make sure you get a scanner so you can scan your sketches or traditionally inked works. So, are you ready to decide your manga making path? Will you go full digital, analog, or a mix of both? If you're ready to learn these techniques and all the different skills like drawing, writing, storyboarding, paneling to create your first published manga, then we invite you to apply to our online one-shot manga drawing program. You'll have pro-Japanese mangakas acting as your editors. We'll create a personalized training menu to make sure you get your first manga published. You can book a free manga consultation call with us to see if we're a good fit to work together. The link to sign up is in the description. In the meantime, you can check out this free training on how you can learn to create your very first manga.